Less than 100 days. That's all that's left until the biggest sporting event on the planet kicks off. And right now, across every podcast, every YouTube channel, every pundit desk, everyone is getting it wrong. They're talking about Argentina. They're talking about France. They're talking about Brazil making a comeback. Portugal's last dance. England finally doing it. And every single one of them is walking right past the most complete international team in the world. Spain. A country that doesn't need hype to perform. A country that's been quietly setting records while everyone else is making noise. Defending European champions.
The best team won it. In 2024, Spain are the champions of Europe again.
Unbeaten in competitive football for 3 years. The deepest squad on the planet. And a 19-year-old who just might be the best footballer alive right now. This isn't a hot take, this isn't clickbait. This is the case, built on facts, built on numbers, built on 3 painful World Cup lessons that Spain has finally turned into fuel. Spain is coming, and the rest of the world is not ready. Before we get into tactics, history, or individual players, let's start with a number that almost no one is talking about. 334. That is the number of Spanish players currently playing across Europe's top 5 leagues. The Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, League One. 334 Spanish players, more than any other nation on earth. Second place, France, with just 72 players. That's a gap of 262, and that's not a small margin. That's almost 10 entire squads worth of difference. Now, what does that actually mean in practice? It means that when Luis de la Fuente sits down to pick his squad, he's not scouring lower leagues hoping someone steps up. He's cutting world-class players just to get down to 26 names. Take the left-back position. Chelsea's Marc Cucurella, one of the best left-backs in the Premier League. Barcelona's Alejandro Balde, arguably the best young left-back in Europe. Bayer Leverkusen's Alejandro Grimaldo, a player who was outstanding in a side that went unbeaten in the Bundesliga. All 3 play for Spain. All 3 are fighting for one spot. In midfield, Rodri from Manchester City, the best defensive midfielder in the world. Pedri from Barcelona, one of the most technically gifted players of his generation. Martin Zubimendi from Arsenal, a player clubs spent 2 summers trying to sign. All 3 play the same position. All 3 are first choice for Spain. Even in goal, a position that's often the weakest link for big nations, Spain has 4 genuine international level keepers. And the most remarkable thing, Robert Sanchez, the man who just won the Club World Cup with Chelsea, isn't even guaranteed to make the squad. Not just the starting 11, the squad. This is what a generation of investment in football infrastructure looks like. Spain didn't get here by accident. They built this pipeline deliberately, and now it's producing players faster than any national team can use them. But here's the thing. Having the best squad on paper means absolutely nothing if you don't learn from your mistakes. And Spain had 3 very public, very painful lessons before arriving at 2026. The first lesson came in 2014. Spain entered the Brazil World Cup as defending champions. They were expected to dominate. They left in the group stage, including a 5-1 defeat to the Netherlands, the same team they'd beaten in the 2010 final. It was one of the most shocking collapses in World Cup history. The message was impossible to ignore. The golden generation was over. Xavi, Andrés Iniesta, Xabi Alonso, Iker Casillas, David Villa, the players who had carried Spain to the very top of world football, had either peaked or were past their best. The squad needed a total rebuild, and the federation knew it. The second lesson came in 2018. The rebuild was underway. Spain had a new generation coming through and a clear plan. But 2 days before their opening World Cup game, head coach Julen Lopetegui accepted the Real Madrid job without telling the federation. They fired him on the spot. Spain entered the tournament with Fernando Hierro, their technical director, stepping in as emergency head coach. No preparation time, no pre-tournament work, just a man thrown into the deep end days before the biggest competition in football. They made it out of the group stage, but got knocked out by the hosts Russia in the round of 16 on penalties. Another tournament, another exit that felt like it should have gone further. The third lesson came in 2022. This time, the coaching situation was solved. Luis Enrique was one of the most respected managers in world football, and his philosophy was clear: a fluid, interchangeable attacking system built on total possession. When it worked, it looked extraordinary. They beat Costa Rica 7-0 in the group stage. It looked like Spain had finally cracked the code, but in the quarter-final against Morocco, the system hit its limits. 76.7% possession, 90 minutes of football, one shot on target. The system had no answer for a deep defensive block, because there was no individual who could create something from nothing. No one to turn to when the structure broke down. They went out on penalties. Again, 3 World Cups, 3 exits before the final, 3 very different problems, and every single one of them has been addressed going into 2026. The coaching instability of 2018. Luis de la Fuente has been in charge since 2022 and has built a clear, settled identity around this squad. The lack of team cohesion? Gone. A core group of players, Rodri, Pedri, Mikel Oyarzabal, Dani Olmo, Marcos Llorente, have been playing together for years now. They know each other's movements. They trust each other in big moments. This isn't a collection of individuals. This is genuinely a team. And the problem of 2022, no superstar, no match winner, no one who can produce a moment of individual brilliance when the game is locked. That problem has a name: Lamine Yamal. 19 years old, just sit with that for a moment. At 17, Lamine Yamal became the youngest player in the history of the European Championships to play, then the youngest to score, then the youngest to win. He didn't just participate in Euro 2024, he was one of the most important players in the entire tournament. His goal, in the semi-final against France, is already one of those moments that will be replayed for decades. Picking up the ball on the right side of the box, cutting onto his left foot, and curling it into the top corner with the confidence of a player who'd been doing this for years. He was 17. It was his first major international tournament, and he looked completely at home. He was named Young Player of the Tournament. Spain won the Euros. And by the time the 2026 World Cup comes around, he'll have 2 more full seasons of that level behind him. Most players his age are still fighting for a consistent starting spot at their club. Yamal has already won a major international trophy. He's already had defining tournament moments on the biggest stages. He arrives at this World Cup not as a young talent to watch. He arrives as one of the best players in the world. And what makes Spain genuinely dangerous is that Yamal doesn't have to do it all on his own. He's surrounded by world-class players in every position. He just needs to be himself. And himself, right now, is extraordinary. If you want to understand what Spain are capable of at the 2026 World Cup, you don't need to imagine it. You just need to watch what they did at Euro 2024. Because what they produced in Germany was almost unprecedented in international football. Spain won 6 of their 7 matches in normal time. The only game that went beyond 90 minutes was their quarter-final against Germany, the host nation, playing in front of their own fans with everything behind them. Spain came back and won it in extra time with a goal from teenage substitute Mikel Merino. They scored more goals than any other team at the tournament. They had the highest expected goals figure of any team. Their attacking football wasn't just effective, it was the best anyone produced across the entire competition. Now compare that to everyone else. England scraped through almost every single game. Gareth Southgate's side produced some of the most joyless, uninspired football you'll ever see from a squad of that quality. and still made the final, which tells you something about tournament football. But they were completely outclassed by Spain when it mattered. France, with arguably the most individually talented squad in the world, couldn't score a single open-play goal in the knockout rounds until the semi-final. Kylian Mbappe, one of the greatest players on the planet, was severely limited throughout the tournament after breaking his nose in the opening game, playing behind a protective mask and never looking like himself. While everyone else stuttered, Spain were perfect. And that's not hyperbole. From their opening game against Croatia to the final against England, there was not a single match where Spain looked beatable in regular time. That is your blueprint. That is the team that is walking into the 2026 World Cup. There is one statistic that, when you really think about it, should end this conversation before it starts. Excluding penalty shootouts, Spain have gone 31 competitive matches without defeat. 31 games. The last time another team beat Spain in regular time in a competitive match was Scotland in March 2023. Since that result, Spain have won the UEFA Nations League in 2023, won Euro 2024, and reached the Nations League final in 2025, a match they lost only on penalties. Penalty shootouts are not a measure of quality. They are a lottery. What matters is what happens in 90 minutes. And in 90 minutes of competitive football, no one has beaten Spain in 3 years. Now let's talk about the competition. Argentina are the defending champions, but Lionel Messi is 38 years old at the time of this World Cup, and no one really knows what version of him will turn up. He was brilliant in 2022 in Qatar, but that may have been his peak in international football. Their squad beyond Messi is aging, and they haven't been dominant in the way Spain has since winning the title. France have the talent, nobody is denying that, but they have never been able to consistently function as a unit at international level. The dressing room tensions, the inconsistency, the over-reliance on individual moments rather than collective patterns. France are a team that can beat anyone on their best day and frustrate everyone on their worst. Brazil have gone years without a settled manager, without a clear identity, without the kind of dominant qualifying performances that make them feel like genuine favourites. They have the names. They don't yet have the system. England have an excellent squad, and the World Cup being played in North America, similar weather conditions to what they play in domestically, which some analysts believe could benefit them. But England's history in big tournaments is a story of promise meeting its ceiling at the wrong moment. Spain, meanwhile, have the system, the superstar, the experience, the depth, and the record. No other team at this World Cup can make that claim. There's one final piece of context that ties everything together. In 2008, Spain won the European Championship. It was their first major international trophy in 44 years. People celebrated, but many dismissed it. They called it lucky. They said it wouldn't last. 2 years later, Spain were world champions. They shocked the world in South Africa in 2010, losing their opening game to Switzerland before winning every single match from that point to the final. David Villa, Andres Iniesta, a country that had waited a lifetime, finally delivering when the moment came. History doesn't guarantee anything, but the pattern is there. The conditions are there. The squad is better than it was in 2024. The motivation after 3 painful World Cup exits is higher than it's ever been. Spain isn't sneaking up on anyone this time. They've earned the right to be called favourites. And the biggest mystery of this entire World Cup cycle is why so few people are willing to say it. So there it is, a country with 334 players across Europe's top leagues, more than any nation on earth. 3 World Cup lessons finally, fully addressed. A settled coach, a united squad with years of experience playing together, a generational superstar in Lamine Yamal, and 31 competitive games without a defeat in regular time. When they won it in 2010, Spain shocked the world. They lost their first game and still went all the way. In 2026, they're not the underdog, they're the standard. And the question isn't whether Spain can win the World Cup. The question is who, if anyone, can stop them? Let us know in the comments. Can Spain go all the way? Or is there a team out there with what it takes to stop them? We want to hear your pick. And while you're here, make sure you're subscribed to Go Alato.